Well, the Ford Ranger's profusely leaking oil. The Camaro's transmission's laying on the floor. So I did the right thing and bought a car that's been off the road for 20 years. Good old Ford Mustang. Doesn't run. The motor seems like it doesn't spin. Got a lot of flat tires. Got a lot of potential. And some really faded patina. Doesn't even look good. Great. Great. Let's start with the simple things. We got a tires wind in it. That one does not. We need back tires with wind because, you know, I'm cheap and I got the cheapest trailer. Like you're supposed to do when you buy junk cars. That, yeah. Let's do it. I'm glad I found this lock key though. I had to look. I looked in the glove box, looked under the seats, and all of a sudden there it was, right in the middle compartment, just staring at me, giving me nightmares. How much you want to bet this wheel's gonna be seized on? I got 20 bucks of Coke and a ticket to a local hockey game. It's gonna be seized on there. I just know it. Inspection 9 of 2003, which means also actually I'm gonna check the mileage here. I'll be dipped. 74,520 original miles. You can't even make that. She's barely broke in. Gotta get this engine free now. I think the only thing I'm gonna buy is a new top because I'm cheap. And if you look closely, I think there was a crack in it, or maybe it was just I think the stitching came out. But you can't tell from like here. It's got a wing, you know, for aerodynamics. Can't open the trunk, which maybe is a good thing. It's got the old Ford taillights that don't even look good. It does have performance exhaust, and actually, it actually does have a pretty freaking nice exhaust. And it even has headers. It's a beast behind all the... That's nothing. Behind that. I think this tire could hold wind, but... You know what? I think when I'm going down the highway, she blows out going 70 and starts drifting on us. Might make it a little too fun for my experience, you know what I mean? But anyway, get this jacked up. I want the headers to like here. It's Bluetooth. I didn't think they had Bluetooth in 1995. You just jam it under here and you just start going. It'll hit something eventually. Good enough for the girls we date anyway. Take this off. I don't know, we'll find something in this paradise of a junkyard filled with cool Porsches and even square bodies down yonder. But just trying to get this thing loaded out of this feller's hair so that I can take up room in my own driveway and then regret it every morning when I look at it. I have to go to school. Also, I bought this car sight unseen. I already put down $100 before I even came out and looked at it. That's the right thing to do, you know? We'll give you a proper tour when we get back. Don't ever lose these keys. You lose these keys, boy, I tell you, you're never gonna see the end of it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, aside from the fact that it's severely dry rotted, it's fine.
So how are we gonna get the other tire off with this one jack?
I'm gonna find something to push under here that's gonna hold up a car. Maybe we'll put a stick under here. Does this spin? That's good. Looks like that brake line will explode in about 30 seconds. I'm not even gonna touch the brake pedal. We know how that goes. Jam underneath the frame or it'll bend something, because that's the right way to do things. I don't like tarps. They hide snakes. And I don't like snakes. I don't like tarps, basically is what it comes back to. I'm still pretty impressed with how good this body is. Oh, there's the other part of the cut off exhaust. Man, that's actually like a nice exhaust. That sucks. Just have to break out the old welder, just connect it. I did what I'm very famous for. I jack up the car, then I loosen the lug nuts, because then your wheel spins. There you have it. After an hour and a half of fiddling around, back on our way homeward. Alright, so a little bit of backstory on this piece of junk I just bought behind us. This car has, the inspection sticker is off the car for 20 years. 2003 was the last time this thing was on the road. In fact, exactly 20 years ago, we're in the 9th month. Yeah. So, September of 2003 was the last time this thing was legally allowed on the road. And I think that's honestly probably the last time this thing's been running. I'm not gonna lie, this thing, it's got a lot of corrosion from sitting. A little bit of rust on the spots where rust only grows from sitting, like a lot of brake stuff and brake line stuff and all that fun stuff. But I mean, it's all there. I think with a little bit of love, a little bit of oil down the cylinders, and this thing should be turning over, hopefully starting. The issue is there's always a reason stuff gets parked, and I just need to figure out the reason for this thing. Was it just an old guy? Did he pass? Did something happen? Did the car have an issue? That's the tricky part. That's why I like to look in the trunk, because if there's parts in the trunk, that usually means that the car is junk. But we'll open the trunk when we get back. It's probably gonna sit for a couple days until parts come in, because I'm cheap and I order everything online because it's cheaper that way. But we're gonna have to tackle this thing right away, see what it needs. I know it needs spark plug wire for sure. It's missing some for map, throttle positioning, something in the airflow system near the throttle where the throttle blade opens. It's missing a sensor there somewhere. I don't know what it was, but we're gonna have to figure that out. And then see if the transmission works. The exhaust, like I said, is cut off, so we're gonna have to figure out a way to, you know, connect those together. Probably the cheapest way. Probably find some pipe laying outside somewhere and weld it on. But we'll get it home, and I'll see you in like a million hours, because this is gonna take forever. Alright, so now that I am back home, I finally got the car back. It's out here sitting in the driveway, actually. Let's take a look at it. Bam. There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mustang has made it home. So, let's do a proper walk around of this thing. I might hook up some juice to it, see if we can get the trunk open. I'm not going to try to start it, and I'll explain why here in a second. But anyways, let's get the hood open, and let's just check this whole rig out. So, as you can tell, the rig is indeed open. And this is what we're working with. So, no battery. That's great. Never get one of those. But the corrosion, it's real. This car has really been sitting a long time, and the corrosion has gotten the best of everything aluminum on this thing. But with that being said, we're missing one spark plug wire for some reason, as well as the idle air control valve. Took me a little bit to figure that out. It is an AC car, which is kind of nice. Actually, I wonder if that will come working again. Everything else in here seems to be here except for the oil cap, which is slightly concerning. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it's been open long. I don't see much or any rust. We do have some headers down here, and I don't know where these came from. I don't see a name brand on them, but they're also cut off right there. So I don't understand. I don't know if those were just put on and they never got to finish the exhaust system for whatever reason, or what's happening with that. But basically, it's gonna need exhaust stuff. As of right now, I just briefly grabbed the crank pulley and I was not able to get it to spin. But I'm gonna, before I even really try to get it to spin, because it should have spun, I'm gonna pull all the spark plugs out before we do anything. Just dump some oil in there and let her soak or eat, and then That way when I go to actually try to rotate this engine over, we're gonna have oil and lubrication's been sitting there. Hopefully break these rings free. I hope that we don't have much of an issue with that. I didn't even check the oil. Oh, we got oil. Lots of gasoline in this oil. That's why it's so over full. That's not good. But at least that's something to bottom end, so I'm not worried about the bottom end. Just really hoping these valves and the rings will come back to life. But we'll let it eat with some cleaner. Like I said, I'm gonna throw probably tonight some form of juice on here just to get the trunk open. Make sure the rig don't burn down. I don't know when I'm gonna get a battery. I'm pretty booked on my schedule right now. I'm gonna try to get one tomorrow. Maybe even still tonight, but I just can't say for certain. So the rest of the rig though, take a look here. I mean, as you'd seen earlier when we picked it up, the window's a little bit of an issue. I think for now I'm just gonna put like shower curtain stapled on, or figure out a way to mount this. I think this is actually glass. Yeah, this is real glass. Try to mount that on somehow, because the top itself is actually, I mean, it's faded, but it's not that bad. Door, bam, opens real nice. The interior in this car is quite amazing. I mean, we've had some ice, some dirt, some rocks, but not even that bad. The back seats, of course, got a little bit of tree wear in them, but they didn't even start molding. This was parked indoors, and then when it was moved outdoors, they tried to cover this to the best of their ability. A little bit of molding on the steering wheel. That's just extra vitamins. But the big thing is right there, 74,520 miles. That's pretty nice. So in theory, that would mean this is a pretty low mileage car, which would be great. The rest of the interior, I mean, standard. The old radio's missing. That sucks, but oh well. This thing moves. The throttle's stuck. Brake pedal. Oh boy. Straight to the floor. Nothing happened. Cool. That's good to know. Looks like our turn signal's gonna work. And we do got cruise, by the way. This does have cruise control. So that'd be nice to have. This is supposed to be the daily driver. The interior roof liner looks very good. Cannot complain. Yep. Hopefully the top still works. I kind of doubt it. It's going to be more issues, but it'll work for now. But anyway, I'm just going to figure out getting these spark plugs out, dump some oil in there, let it eat, hopefully while I'm at work. So let's just jump right into that. Alright, let's try to dig these spark plugs out. Good old V6. These headers are going to make this interesting. Great, just started. Already losing stuff. That's just awesome. That's not good. There's a lot of rust on this plug. Like, I don't know how well y'all can see this, but rusted. This gap is insanely huge, and this electrode isn't more right. So something, it wasn't bad news, basically. Because I'm on a little bit of a timer to get to work. I'm gonna toss some rejuvenation transmission fluid, or actually I don't know if I have any. WD-40, something lubricative, down that cylinder and get it soaking while I'm gone. Half a can of some liquid wrench, so we're gonna try to use some of this. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, I have borrowed a pressure washer, so even though I didn't fill the cylinders yet, I just got back from pulling the transmission out of a fertilizer, so yay. Let's get this pressure wash. I'm gonna do the engine bay. I don't care where water goes, it can't hurt it anymore. I'm gonna be tearing into it anyway. And then all the outside. Try my best not to get water on the inside, so yeah, sit tight. Let's watch and see what happens. We're back. It's dark like always. because that's the only time I can work, I think. It's like Batman, basically. But, I've let it soaked with some 2-stroke oil, transmission fluid, Marvel Mist Oil, basically anything I could find laying on the garage floor, and just threw it in the engine to let it soak for at least 2 or 3 days now. And I looked at the spark plugs. I had to bring you in here so I can show you. So, this first spark plug, really hard to see because, you know, it's dark, extremely rusty. This was the cylinder number 4 spark plug, and this is probably going to be the cylinder that's stuck up for us. Now, that being said, this also didn't have the wire on it, so there's a chance they took the spark plug out, left it sit somewhere for a while. It got rusty, they put it back in the engine so that it was not opened, but hard to tell. These other ones, still, we have that weird electrode wear that looks like these are way too high of a gap. So this thing definitely wasn't running great if it was running at all. But it at least tells us that it was running with these plugs. Now, I'm going to see if I can spin the engine by hand. Can't spin it by hand. So I grabbed the 7/8. We're gonna see if we can do some damage. Hopefully it just spins.
How expensive do you say a new Mustang engine is?
Let me go grab a 1/2-inch drive so I have a decent bar. First try. We're gonna first try this. It's gonna break great for me, guaranteed. Nope, probably not. Probably gonna pull the engine. That's alright. I'll just take this one out, spray paint it, and say, came out a running engine. Running good. And put a small block Chevy in here. I have one of those.
Just straight at your Camaro one.
Exactly. Well, I have an extra one. So. That's what I know. If I snap this board off, then we do have to pull the engine.
I think that's pretty tight.
Well, you know what they say, force, not finesse. That always ends the right way. Well, looks like it's kind of starting to move. See, it moves a little bit. Oh boy. Oh, it's moving. It's breaking free. I'll be dipped. Holy cow. Look at that.
Atta boy.
Back to life. Sorry to my neighbors. Whoops.
They forgive you. Not
Now,
for that, though.
in all seriousness, though, if you do have an engine that's stuck, you're in this scenario, let it sit, guys. Let it eat. You have to let the oils and stuff do the science in the cylinders, or else it's just, you're going to break the bolt off. And then you're going to have to actually pull the engine out, because you're not going to replace the crankshaft. You know. So, it pays off. Of course, this still, I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to do 2 full rotations of 360 degrees and see how it feels. And then, we'll see about throwing a battery in this thing. Seeing if we get a fuel pump. Kind of curious. Yeah, if we get a fuel pump, that could be bad. Actually, I kind of want to see. I want to see if the fuel gauge works. Curiosity.
If National Burger Day wasn't yesterday, you wouldn't have the muscle to move that thing.
Yeah, for real. I had 2 McDonald's 50-cent burgers today. Oh, I backed the bolt out. Dang it.
September 18th, cheap burgers.
Note that down, fellers.
As you can tell, I'm a mechanic here.
Professional, paid, went to college, masters.
I'm just making sure he does stuff right.
Spurs again.
The engine?
Yeah.
You don't need that.
Since that actually went a lot faster than I had planned. I'm gonna get this throttle assembly out of here, I think. Because she needs cleaned up. She's dirtier than new rap dance videos. Whew. Getting pretty rough. Brought myself a can of industrial PB Blaster because, you know, saved me 3 cents.
Yeah, I could just sit here and just spin this one and need gasoline.
You can drive me the whole way to school, huh?
100 miles a gallon.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be his most fuel efficient car.
Better beat the Camaro. Can't get any worse. That's for sure. That wasn't bad. I'm also definitely going to forget how this whole throttle assembly goes together, just because there's a lot of wires. I don't like wires. There's bad things that happen with wires. Also, I did pick up the idle air control valve, and that's a lesson for you guys here. So, I called one parts store. They said they could order it and get it in within 3 days for $101. I called the next parts store, and they're like, yeah, we have it. We can get it here tonight, 6 p.m. Just order it within 2 hours. It'll be $75. So ask around, folks. See what you can get. So, it was missing the idle air control valve. Sits right on top of the intake. I'm probably going to need a new gasket. I did not get one. And now I'm regretting that because this throttle body, she ain't going to seal. It's going to be leaking back. But it'll be good enough to start. Alright, welcome back, fellers and fellettes. So, I'm going to talk to you a little bit here about what I bought. I believe, all the parts we need. I was hoping to get it started and running, but you know, in normal fashion, it's dark outside, so we're going to see if it doesn't work. I mean, if the fuel system don't work, it's going to have to wait, basically, is what that means. It's going to kind of suck to do this, but I'll show you what I got and why I got it, and we'll dive in before it gets even darker, right? Alright, so the reason I was particularly attracted to this battery, because it was the cheapest on the shelf. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a 12-volt battery, especially for a V6 car. Just grab one that fits. It's cheap. I bought one that was too big, so I didn't even check to see if this one fits. We'll see. Hopefully it fits. The other one I set it in there and I was like, nope, not gonna work. So, fresh off the shelf. The next parts that we have here, spark plugs. If you want to spend $60 on a set of spark plugs, be my guest. All these things do is spark. Give you some sparkles, you know, electricity. I picked this set up $4 a piece. Alright, still pricey, especially compared to what I'm used to. I started working on cars when these were like $1 a piece, but $4 a piece. Got the Autolite Platinum. It says NASCAR, so it must be good. I also got us the idle air control valve, simply because we were just missing one, and a set of new wires. Sweet. So good set of spark plug wires, which we were missing one, but there were some mouse chews, so these needed replaced. Spark plugs, not gonna lie, because just that one that was really rusted, should replace them. Otherwise, you're pretty okay. That being said, if you're gonna try to daily a car after it's running like this, like I'm gonna do, it's not a bad idea to replace your plugs. But if you don't need to, don't worry about it. Save yourself $30. Put it somewhere else, right? So we're gonna slap this battery in. We're gonna see what this car does with power, and we'll take it one step at a time from there. Fits. Oh, backwards. Usually the vehicles I tend to work on, they got anti-theft. They got 2 black cables because, you know, it's cheaper to buy the black one. And that way, if somebody tries to steal your car, they'll just burn it to the ground in front of your face instead. It's great. I got this little factory battery thing. I'm going to throw it on because, you know, factory. What is this wire? Why is it? How is that supposed to make any sense? Somebody help me understand this. Holy. I'm not a huge fan of all that. Just try to, sure. See what that does for us. I'm gonna put this cover on so that in case the hood does hit, won't get sparkles. Just swinging. Come on now. Somebody help me understand this one. Okay. Bam. Why? Why is that so hard? Alright, let's see if it... Oh, I got some sparkles. Not sure why. Now's a good time to walk around the rig. Make sure we don't have any smoke or fire. I'm gonna bring my good old film flashlight. No interior lights. That thing's freaking out. That's great. Let me go grab the good old keys. And we'll see what this thing tells us. Oh, this light just died. That's great. Got the good old key for the rig. Oh, it's getting stolen. You'll have that on them big drums. Watch this. Come on. Watch this. It's gonna work. I know to shut the car alarms off. Usually you can just lock the door. Nope, that's not working. Come on. I'm interested to see if that light will come off. I can't see anything. Put the key in. Maybe. Clock turns on. Or the freaking out light turns on. I can't see anything. Oh, I'll be dipped if we got working headlights and interior lights. Alright, let's see if the starter works. Let's listen for a fuel pump. I hear the relay clicking. Let me check our fuel for pressure. You can check here your bleeder valve. If the fuel pump did kick on, which I don't think it did, which is slightly concerning. It could be a wiring issue, or it could simply be that there's no fuel. Yeah. No gasoline up thus far. So, it's not going to stop us from hearing this thing bark off, but it is going to be a major factor. So, let's get a light. And it thinks it's getting stolen again. Bro. It must be some aftermarket electrical system we are definitely going to be removing. Alright. We'll move the seat back. Our seat controls ain't working. It's alright. Let's see here. We'll look at our gauges as we flip this thing on. None of them come on. Doesn't sound the best, but I'll tell you what. I think she is working. So, I feel my relay's working. Let me check some fuses, throw in some spark plugs, and I'll catch y'all after I get that far. Alright, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is going to be the very, I don't know, like the third time ever in this whole episode, there's going to be daylight, right? So this is going to be a day where I'm going to have all morning and afternoon, evening, maybe. I might have all day, basically is what I'm saying. All for the Mustang. So, first thing I got to do is I got to rip this Science Kia thing. Don't even know what that means. Kia. Okay, so I'm going to take the Kia out, and I'm going to bring the Camaro in here because it's been pouring down rain for the last 2 days, which is going to be great because we're going to probably have to let underneath the car, drop the tank, and get soaked. So I'm looking forward to that. And, yeah, so enjoy a little cold start and a little rev of the old Camaro. We'll bring that thing in here, that we can get them swapped out, and then we are also going to be polishing up these wheels that I have over here because, well, why not? I'll show you what they look like. They're turning out pretty good for the Craigslist special. I only polished one up, and it took me like 15 minutes. It wasn't even a professional polish job, you might say, but it worked. So let's just get into this. Let's get some things done, and so we can get some work done on this Mustang, because I want to get it running today. So let's see what we can do. If you remember what these things looked like beforehand, you'd be surprised now. $200 with the tires. Can't complain. A little bit of elbow grease. Made them look okay. These, I mean, they're not perfect. They need re-chromed. I mean, let's be honest. But they'll work for now. And then, to do that, all I used was this drill over here with the wire brush end. It would have been good if I would have had the 90-degree ones. So, the one that has the bristle, like where this metal part is. But I used this guy. Ouch. The majority of it off. And once I got most of it off, I grabbed these Brillo pads. Now, I usually get the SOS brand thing ones. They're the same, I think. Science. Get steel wool, basically, with soap in them. And, these work great for chrome. All chrome. Any chrome. In glass. Stuff like that. These are one of your best friends for cleaning stuff like that and getting minor scratches and some rust off and stuff to make it the best of with what you got, basically. Well, fellers and fillettes. Good news. They fit. Bad news. These lug nuts are not going to work. These factory style ones. Can't get nothing in here to tighten them up, you know. But they do fit on here. I need to grab those lug nuts. I was kind of afraid that I would have to do that. Might have to do some clearancing. I'm not sure. These are some big rims. I wouldn't have got them this big, but they were, you know, face space special. So they look like they might actually look okay when they're on. It's just can't put them on yet. So I'm gonna throw these old guys back on for now. Just this one actually is all I took off. Look at the tread on this thing. What a shame. These were like some fresh tires, but I guess the old dry air got to them. So I'm gonna take this guy back off, put it back on ramps, jack it back up, and we'll start tracing our fuel issue until we figure out where to begin, what needs done, replace things. So I'll just set this back down, and we'll get these on later. Hopefully today still. I think so. It's like almost like an hour. It'll be an hour for me to get lug nuts and come back. So I want to make sure if I need something else, I can grab everything at once. So I'll catch you guys when I get these back on, and we'll start diagnosing electricity. Great. Alright, so I've been doing a lot of reading on the line. I come up with this diagram, which is that. And what I found is that this 20 amp is going to be our fuel pump. Now the relay's kicking on, so that's a good sign and a bad sign because the relay's kicking on, but we still aren't getting a fuel pump. I'm gonna pull up this 20 amp fuse and just check it out, see what it tells us. Go on now. And this could be something simple, but it could also need a fuel pump. Hard to say. Could be wiring somewhere underneath the car. Fuse looks fine, but if you're ever just curious, grab another 20 amp, or I guess you could grab a greater one just to test. We happen to have another 20 right here. I don't even know what this goes to. 20 amp EEC. That sounds important. Engine control stuff. She isn't looking too hot, I'll tell you that. But you can swap these. I'm gonna kick the key again, and we're gonna see if we have any fuel pump. I don't think they did it for us. Alright, so let me do some learning on you. So, thus far what I found, kind of what I was assuming, it's got a bad fuel pump. Makes sense, it's been sitting for 20 years. So, I've been doing a little bit of figuring, and what I kind of had a suspicion before is seeming more and more real. I think it's a bad fuel pump. So, the fuse is doing fuse things. The relay is clicking when you turn that key. This car had, the 1995 Ford Mustang, has a constant control relay module science thing, and that constant control relay module has the relays that are soldered onto a board for like all 4 different things, including the fuel pump. That relay's clicking, it's behind the fender. I have to pull the fender or the lining off or something just to get to it, and I don't really want to do that if I don't have to. Plus, like I said, it is clicking, you can hear that very distinctly. So that means either the wiring to the fuel pump is damaged or fuel pump's just dead. Now either way, I should drop that tank and drain it out anyway. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop it, and then we're going to see from there what the fuel pump's looking like, and I might go pick one up, throw it back together, and see if we can get this thing started today. So let's not waste any time. I'm just going to drop the tank. That's basically what it comes down to, and we're going to test the wiring at the tank. Because if we don't have power there, we're just going to work our way backwards. I should probably get a new fuel pump anyway, so that I don't have it as a liability. Let's just dive in, and we'll start pulling this fuel tank down and see what it tells us. Alright, here's what we're working with. It's really not too bad under here. So I think we shouldn't have too much of an issue getting these tank straps out. But also, it's not too bad under here at all. I mean, these brake lines they're a little rough. But everything else, like the body, cannot complain. Like I said, this is 74,000 original miles. Also, I always leave the jack underneath the car with the jack stands, because I've seen myself die about 13 times in my dreams, and it's because the car falling on me. So this way they can drag my body out faster. Anyway, let's get back to just pulling these straps down. It smells like really bad gas. And I'm going to see what we're looking like over here. We're getting this filler neck down, so let's dig in. We're at the fun part now. I'm just gonna try to muscle the tank down, because you know it doesn't feel like it's too full actually, which is surprising. Then I got something to show you, some bad news. I don't think I've ever smelled gasoline so bad. I wish you could just understand how bad this gas smells. I'm not kidding you, fellas. That is thick. That's horrible. I think I found the problem. Alright, so I spilled it right here. You can see it's brown. It's not gasoline. I set the tank over here just temporarily to get it out of the way. And because it smells so bad, I can't explain it, guys. It's that bad. But good news is all the wiring to the fuel pump actually looks alright. So, what does that mean? Well, basically, what that comes down to is we're getting a fuel pump. We know that. We're going to get whatever the other Sendy unit thing, fuel gauge reader thing, majig thing is as well. Because, well, might as well grab it. It's going to be great to have a working fuel gauge. So, we're going to grab all that, and we're going to run new fuel lines. Now, the only reason that I'm going to run new fuel lines, because I thought they looked really good at first, is because I can literally see through them. They're deleted. They're non-existent. There's Bluetooth in it. And I don't want that. It's 95. It's a little old for Bluetooth. It might get slow connection. So, we're going to run all new fuel lines. Now, that's going to be tricky. I've never done that before with fuel injection because it's high pressure line. So, I don't know how that's going to work. I'm going to go to the parts store, ask some questions, figure it out, read on the line, because this is my first fuel injection revival, I guess you could say. So, this is going to be a little bit of a learning experience for me, but I'm going to show you what I do. And I'm going to try to do it on a budget as well, although we are going to run brand new line the whole way, all the way up to the fuel rail, I think. That's my plan, at least. It smells horrible. I can't get over that smell. That gasoline is bad. So, there was a little bit in the line, though. I pulled that line off a little bit, ran back down. So, that fuel pump might have even actually been trying to work, just been so gummed up that it wasn't going to pull any fuel or anything. So, with that being said, I'm probably going to have to flush out the lines. I might just count on the fuel injectors working because I know the fuel didn't make it up that far. So I might just count on those working, but I might just order a set of fuel injectors, just have on standby. Maybe some bigger ones, get something a little more fuel flowing in there anyway, and figure out what we can do with that. Maybe a cold air, just start getting things for a little bit of performance upgrade ordered so that I can replace the junk when it breaks, and then we'll have a little bit of an upgrade. I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. I also, since I need to go to the parts store anyway to get lug nuts, fuel stuff, I'm gonna order a tank online. I think I found one for 60 bucks on Rock Auto. I think that's the one I'm going to go with. I'm going to see their fuel pump and relay and not the relay, the sender unit and all that stuff. I'm going to see the prices of that versus in store because I'm going to have to order one thing. If it's going to save me money, I'm just going to order everything from there. So it's going to be a lot of me typing and looking and reading and seeing what I can find. But I don't know, maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe I will find what I'm looking for. Until then, it's 12:48 right now. So until that point, I'm going to be cleaning until probably 2:30-ish. And that's all I'm going to do. Cleaning interior, I'm going to vacuum, scrub it down. It's nothing cool. I don't think that's very interesting to y'all. So I'm just going to clean it out real quick. Make it look nice, smell nice. And then do a better job patching the roof leak because it's going to be raining for the next week here in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to find tarp or something that I can throw over top that broken window and keep the rain out. So with all that being said, I will catch you guys either later today or tomorrow or something. Whenever I get parts, I will give you an update.
Well, I did it. Need wheel spacers in the back. She's going to be rubbing. The fronts don't look like they're going to clear, so that's fine. Didn't test it though because we're on ramps. Also, these tires are way too big for the ramps, and they're hopefully not going to get hurt from doing this. But today, we should take it off the ramps, hopefully. And, yeah, back wheels, they need spacers. I'll get those today. So, right now, got the tank, got a pump, some extra miscellaneous stuff, got the new roof and everything. I did save the old rims and tires. I'm probably going to keep those, actually. But we're going to get this tank out. We're going to get basically everything ready. I don't have the sending unit. I'm probably going to set everything up, though, because I did get new fuel lines to patch and we're going to need it and some fittings and stuff down there. And we're just going to get everything set up to test that this is going to pump gasoline. We are pumping, there's no issues with the fuel pump still not running. It's going to pump gasoline. It's going to pressurize the system. It'll run and not leak. That's what we're going to do. And then when I get that sending unit tomorrow, I probably won't work on it till the Sunday. It's currently Thursday. Really busy And so Sunday, I will get it all wrapped up, check the brakes over today / the next time I can work on it. Once brakes are done and the fuel system's done, this car's back on the road. So we're getting really close. I'm eager to hear this thing run, like, for real. So I want to get this hooked up temporarily and see what we can do. So I'll just time lapse it. It's gonna be boring just setting stuff up, and catch you once I'm done. Well, as you can see, the new tank with the new pump, the new fuel sender, it's all ready to go. That's for a vent line, and then of course our filler neck will come in right over here. So this is ready to go up in the car. I'm gonna try to figure out some fuel lineage, because the fuel lines are really bad. I'm gonna try my best to make some janky repair. Probably never gonna recommend it to anybody, but I'm gonna try to do that, get that done, get the tank back in, and I'll see you guys when I do that, because once I do all that, we're gonna get ready to test all of this and fire it up. So we're getting really close, and then we'll have to figure out wheel spacers, because I'm still having trouble with the spacing of one of my wheels. So we're going to figure out what we're going to do with that, because the design I can't find in stores. It's online, but I would like to drive it rather sooner than later. So we're going to see what we can find and maybe make something work. Anyways, let's get this put together. I will catch you guys when I do all that. It's going to be a bunch of boring fuel line running underneath the car, and then I'll show you what I come up with, and then I'll tell you never to do it yourself. So I'll catch you guys when I get all that done and all this ready, and we'll get ready to fire this up here in a little bit. So, never, ever, ever trust a pressurized fuel system, which is his claims. But for the sake of me just hearing this thing run, this should work. I also am still missing the rubber flange piece. I ended up breaking it, called part stores. They said, we don't have one, we can't get you one. They were the most useless thing ever. So I found one on eBay in one quick search. So I'm waiting for that to come up. That's not going to be for 5-6 days. And I also just have it, hose clamped there. But hey, if it works, just to hear it run, right? Now, the next issue. Well, the next good thing. So I primed it like 4 times. You can tell it has fuel pressure because of the way that it is. Not there. Put your little screwdriver. Ah, she's stuck. That's not good. Come back up. There we go. Well, now I gotta wait for that to dry before I start it, because I'm just gonna start a fire. That's how you test it though. Just your Schrader valve with just a screwdriver. Or you should use a fuel pressure tester on that, but do not have one of those. I'm gonna grab some towels, I'm gonna wipe this up, and then we are gonna crank this over. Now that we have fuel pressure and it's not leaking yet, and it's held up enough to where it should start, we should be able to hear this thing run. It's just a matter of actually doing it. Like I said, I'm gonna just kind of wipe up where all this gasoline has been spilt, because that's the quickest way to burn your rig straight to the ground. There's just gasoline everywhere. We got pressure, got everything else. I'm gonna let that just soak in some air for a second. I'll set this up so that we can turn her over and it should fire. I actually, in the meantime, might clean out our airbox system with the vacuum, because it has mouse house in it. As you can tell by the way that it is, there was a mouse living in there. I don't think I'm gonna reuse this air filter. It looks like it had a crack in it right here, so it might not be good. And then I'll throw this on so that we at least get our mass airflow sensor and all that crap, so maybe it'll run almost decent. There's gonna be no filter. I'll pick one of those up in store. That should be easy. Once we hear it fire up for a second, I'll dive underneath of her and we'll do an oil change. Got myself a Wix filter. These things are legitimately built different. It's not a name brand, it's not a sticker. It's an extra like $2. I'm telling you guys, Wix is good stuff. I run it. That or CarQuest, I run it on my rigs. Depends on what I can get. Next, oil. Heavy duty diesel. Now, I like diesel oil. I usually get 1540, but I got some 1030 for this rig. I usually get diesel oil because it has more zinc in it. There's a little more zinc for those flat tapped cams. Now, that's usually for like really old, like my Camaro. That's pretty important to use zinc additives. This has zinc in it. You wouldn't even need additives technically, but I still throw a little bit extra in. I usually get stuff like this that has zinc in it, and it's good oil treatment. But I run that usually with a diesel oil in most of my stuff, just because I'm getting a little more of that wear protection. They took zinc out because of catalytic converters and stuff. But if your car doesn't have a cat, it's not going to change anything. But with catalytic converters and all that garbage for emissions, oil that had zinc in it would clog up your catalytic converters, and you would be destroying your engine even faster than they already do. All that emission stuff is crap. Yeah, it might be slightly better for the environment, but your car runs so much more less efficient that I don't see the point of it anyway. So, anyway, cats are useless. Get diesel oil. That's the point of that. Like I said, I'm just going to clean these out real quick. Maybe clean up some stuff so that we have some room. And while that gasoline that I just spilled everywhere dries, because I do not want this thing to burn down, I'll grab the 10-year-old fire extinguisher that I don't know works, set that next to the car so that if it starts lighting on fire, I can at least watch it and look like I was doing something. So, I'll get this ready, and then we'll just crank it over and see if she'll run on its own fuel system.
Alright, so it's been a few days, and I have just been, I don't know where I left off. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember where the last video clip I took was. But tonight I'm going to finish editing this video so I can get it posted. So, I have been really trying to get this green Mustang running and driving to make it the running and driving video. So, as you can tell, we didn't make it. It's not running and driving. I tried. We failed. For now. It's going to be fixed with time, but I'm so busy right now. So, especially with school. So this is just, it's going to have to be put on the side burner, and we have to get the Ranger and the Camaro done because I need 2 cars that I can drive. Basically is what it comes down to. And this green car is going to be taking a lot more time, it seems. It looks like it's going to need a transmission. So, the little clip I showed of it running, I'm about to start it back up right again for you guys. I just did an oil change, so it'll be good to run for a little bit. I'm going to show you that it runs. I'm going to show you that it runs pretty decent, actually. I put a new air filter. I got the belt tensioner to sit tighter. It's not tight yet. And it's running okay. The exhaust is still off of it. You'll be seeing that in the next episode when we make it drive. But let me find them. I already started on the exhaust, which is just the OG flanges on some old exhaust pipe, or new exhaust pipe, and I'm going to build that little center section that's missing where the catalytic converters were, because they took those off. But basically, the transmission's junk, the engine runs, everything else seems to be okay. The brakes are getting done actively, but I figured I needed to just wrap up this video, because back when I started this video, I didn't even have hair, and I got almost half hair now, so like, it's been a while, it's been a minute, as the kids would say. Should I say it? Anyway, we're gonna get this thing wrapped up for this episode. It's done, it's running.
Well, this is what happens. I'm 17. Why does... Anyway. Oh yeah, I got another Mustang. There's the key to this one. But, this... Oops. Nope, not that one. That's the truck key. This is the key that we need. I'm going to show you guys, once and for all, that this car does officially run, because the video was taken on my iPhone, and, you know, science happens. So I don't know how much you got to actually see. Now, of course, it is pitch black. Let me go grab my phone. It runs decent, actually. It's stupid loud because the exhaust is still off of it. Like I said, or you'll hear me say, I was working on some new exhaust stuff. It's getting there. Brakes are getting actively worked on. I got one line redone. That's it. But all things considered, this car ain't looking half bad. Now, let's pop inside here. Just gonna run it for a minute so that you guys can hear it run, because, you know, I told you it would run, so I'm gonna show you that it'll run. And then I'll show you that it also doesn't move when you put it into gear, which, that's an issue for later. That was pretty high up for some reason. I don't know why I went up that high. to run though. Believe it or don't. Kicks down. It's not charging, so we're gonna need the alternator off the other engine. Amazing oil pressure, might I say. The temperature gauge I don't think is working. The fuel gauge does work. There's not much gasoline in it. But it's running. And then here, you watch me put it into gear. And it just kind of floats. Like, it doesn't feel like it actually engages into gear anyway. And then it doesn't move. Not 1 inch. Even with the e-brake on, it should at least like engage into a gear. I mean, reverse, drive, all the way down to first, absolutely nothing. But it does go in neutral because that's how I rolled it. So I'm gonna say it's bad transmission. It's absolutely junk. I checked the fluid, guys. I topped it off. Just wasted like $20 in fluid probably nowadays. But it runs. I showed you that it runs. It does not drive. We'll fix that in the next episode. But let's get this thing wrapped up and shut off so my neighbors don't kill me. We're gonna get back on this car. I really want to drive it, but I have another Mustang. I have another 95 convertible. It's the exact same car, but it's white and has a red interior. We're either gonna keep both of them or we're gonna sell the white one. But the white one has a locked up engine, but the transmission is supposedly good. So I think we're gonna pull the power plant and transmission out of the white one. I'm just going to keep the engine for parts, and then I'm going to keep the transmission and swap it into the green car. And then that should get me one that works, and then a roller, which we're either going to put a diesel Mercedes in, or we're just going to sell it because I don't have the time. It's probably going to be sold, but who knows? Might work out. There's one way that it could work out, and that's if I get some other stuff around here fixed and sold. I've been buying a lot of cars, basically. So the insurance is getting real. Anyway, this is it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. It's been a wild ride. Sorry that it was so pieced together. I'm currently in school. I do work a part-time job every single day after school, as well as every Saturday. So I'm pretty busy, guys, but I'm gonna try my best to start filming more and more and more. I'm getting a little bit better at it, and then soon enough this car will be done in the next episode. But until then, stay tuned, because like I said, I'm super busy, and that means those projects are going to be being filmed as well. So stay tuned, look for those. Those are probably going to come out before this is out. So let's get everything else running, and then we'll come back to this car. Y'all have a great morning, afternoon, day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.